Miami walks into Atlanta and just eats the Hawks lunch. That's really what happened. They're up 3-1 in the series. This wasn't even really competitive. Miami went on a 26-4 run in the final 7 minutes of the first half, and that was it. Atlanta never even really made a move. Jimmy Butler, 36-10. Trae Young, 9 points. Yuck. Atlanta shows you no fight, no spark, no heart. And now they're down 3-1. When you're down 3-1, well, you win 5% of the time. Series going back to Miami for Game 5. All right, let's bring in Tim Doyle. What does it say that Atlanta was so bad and showed you no fight, no desperation in this spot?
You know, this is one of those series where we've all done it in sports. I don't know what's going on. Like, I take the Hawks in the first 2 games in Miami. They don't cover either game. So I'm like, all right, well, they're like, Miami's just much better. I'll bet them in Game 3. They somehow lose a double-digit lead. And then I'm like, well, maybe the Hawks are back. So I bet the Hawks today. And they're up 35-27, Eric. 35-27. They're up 8 with 8 minutes left in the second quarter. They're cruising. And then the wheels just completely fell off. They got outscored 83-51. They only scored 51 points, the Hawks, the last 32 minutes of the game. And the most telling stat is the backcourt of Vincent and Strus outscored Trae Young and Herter 23-13. Trae Young only had 9 points. Ferris has already missed 9 days of school. The Hawks were awful. This series is only long for one more game.
But what's the deal in Atlanta? I mean, do you blow it up now? I mean, have they shown you that last year was kind of a fluke and that this team in that conference in the East, they have a pretty low ceiling and it's not going to get any higher anytime soon?
You know, I was holding Hawk tickets to win the Eastern Conference before the season. I even bet them to win the NBA championship. I was starting to buy into, Eric, that this was the Warriors of the Eastern Conference when Steph and Clay were young guys. So was
last year the fluke or is this year the fluke?
I think last year was the fluke.
I do too.
You know, and I think that, you know, with all the different injuries and pauses and no fans and starting and stopping and half packed arenas and stuff, you know, they ran into Philadelphia when Philadelphia just had the Ben Simmons drama and they somehow beat the Sixers in that series. You know, Trae got hot in New York and then they went to the Eastern Conference Finals. And, you know, even Giannis got hurt in that series against the Hawks. So, yeah, again, we're going to look back on that like, oh, yeah, that's when the Hawks just like put it together. No doubt. You know, you got a guy like Trae Young. He can carry you to a victory. He certainly did it for the Hawks in the playing game over the Cavaliers. But this was bully ball. You know, you're always looking for me to give you a headline. Hawks have their wings clipped in this game by guys like Jimmy Butler and old school. Just the physicality of the Heat. They just took it to them.
All right, so let's give Miami some flowers, as Avery Johnson likes to say. Miami is what? I mean, it's probably too easy to say, well, they're underrated. I mean, they're the 1 seed in the East. Not a lot of people I saw pick them to even get to the Eastern Conference Finals, and they're certainly not there yet. But they look good today at least. So, I mean, all they've done is go up 3-1 on Atlanta. You know, all you've done is weaken a country today, Kathy. I mean, you haven't accomplished anything yet. You haven't played to your seed. You haven't gone to the finals. Miami is what? Fill in the blank.
Yeah, I mean, they're going to play the 76ers. So I think the 76ers are better. You know what I mean? I just think they have more guys that can put the ball in the basket. Even though Harden's not the same guy that he was, you know, with the Rockets, this is the best team he's ever played around, right? With Maxey and Embiid and Harris and so many other guys that go out there and make shots. He was on some pretty bad teams there in Houston. Or is that physicality of Miami's defense going to just disrupt Philly and they're not going to be able to do anything? You know, like Joel Embiid's going to eat. You know, he might be the MVP, second best player in the NBA behind Jokic this year. So I think it's a bad matchup for them. Good matchup for them in Atlanta. You look up and down the Atlanta roster, there's not a lot of whole guys with muscles. You know, Trae Young lacked muscles. Kevin Huerter just started shaving. John Collins, that's the guy. Like, we had to pinpoint a guy. That's the guy. Like, we thought he was going to jump to, like, 21 points, 9 rebounds a game. And just, I know he's been hurt, so you got to give him a little bit of a pass in that manner. But I think this is just a really good matchup for Miami. I think the Sixers are a bad matchup for them.
All right, there you go. It looks like it's going to be over soon for Atlanta. Again, down 3-1 in the NBA Finals. Down 3-0, you win no percent of the time. That's right, 143. You're down 3-1 only 5% of the time. And they're heading back to Miami, and it does not look good. All right, well done, Tim Doyle. We take care of Atlanta.
Do you want a sports network that delivers everything that matters about the game? The highlights, the picks, the instant analysis, no yelling, no fake debates, no politics. Hit the subscribe button and never miss a moment.